what it says here. It says you're better not dealing directly with people.
But that's not true. I'm really nice to people.
I'm sure you are. I just don't have any...
What else does it say?
The character is she's a very nomadic, individual, very self-reliant. Nothing really seems to faze her, and so I was wondering how you kind of found her character arc from being someone who would reach out to someone about an adoption, and also to the moment that I recall she was in the van and she had hurt her hand and she could have had that breakdown. I was wondering how you kind of saw that journey for her.
That's a really great question. I mean, in a way, like I was trying to say before, the best characters are ones that resonate with all of us. And so I do think that there is a very modern understanding, a very modern human understanding of this sort of pre-doctored, preordained understanding that we all must be independent. We all must be self-contained islands. We have to take care of ourselves, have our own career, have our own thing. We don't need anyone. But yet again, this is sort of a dying paradigm that no longer serves us. And I think that Audrey is sort of this perfect example of a character that's stuck in that death of that paradigm, but really her animal keeps coming out and needing more communicative care and needing more self-tending, which can still be not heralded in an extremely heralded independent type of, that's what's important. So I think that, I mean, in a weird way, it could be metaphorical, right? So I think when I was preparing for it, it felt I was doing more of the sort of logical research of like, wow, like Audrey really defines a generation. And it's the sort of death of indoctrination of this generation and wanting to sort of reach out more and not be such lone islands. And it's interesting that she meets a man of his generation because he was also raised in such a way where he had to be a self-contained man. He had to be, it was different kind of independence, but it was a still similar independence. And so there are these two very indoctrinated and independent people, which also kind of really like it, right? They're also characters that really love being independent and it really suits their character. And then they have to start asking for help, and I think that's for me as an audience member, as a mother, as a woman, I want all stories to start pushing more towards indoctrinating on the opposite end of showing more stories about community care and self-care,
Measure twice, cut once.
It seems like the film really hinges on the dynamic between Audrey and Otto, and
yes,
they're both so similar in so many ways. And to me, it seems like they kind of butt heads often because they were so similar in their stubbornness and set in their ways. Can you kind of speak about that dynamic and how you kind of conceived that to flow through the story?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think that they are at two ends of failed family life. He's I would say he believes he's beyond hope. She's still young enough to see maybe I can do something about it. But I think that they get to relive the parent-child relationship. Mm-hmm. And if you look at the film, there are three stages really, where she's the child and sort of looking for approval. And then she pushes back. She's a teenager. She wants to break. And then she's the adult telling him, giving him advice. So yeah, it becomes, as the character says, I believe, a simulacrum of the parent-child relationship, this experiment of theirs.
Everyone, give the steaks to me.
Honey, please.
I'm going to finish cooking them correctly. Give it to me. All of them. Give to me.
Hey, this is Jena Malone, and come and watch my latest film called Porcupine. It would mean a lot to me. It's now at the Portland Film Festival, and you can watch it at portlandfilm.org. Thanks.